Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen today. This message is Mother's Day Aftermath. Mother's Day Aftermath. There are those who are going to be depressed, unfortunately. There are those that are going to end up having some problems within the family since Mother's Day. There are those that will draw near to the Lord because they recognize that putting children on thrones is not what God ever wanted. Oh, Mother's Day Aftermath. There's a wake-up call. There's a wake-up call for someone, whether it's a day after Mother's Day, 5 days, 2 weeks, or even a year that has passed since Mother's Day. One is going to get the message from the one true God that there is a separation that needs to take place. There is a humbling that has already occurred and will continue to occur. Mom is not to be worshipped, as I said in another audio message. Mom is supposed to be at God's feet. There are those mothers who did not receive, dare we say it, honor. For the simple fact is that they are unbelievers, unwise, and very foolish in what they do and in what they say. If you really want to have that type of honor that the righteous mother receives, you've got to have a righteous lifestyle. You've got to have right words that come out of one's mouth. You got to be in the right spirits. Some folks rather blame the sons and daughters for everything that's wrong rather than look at what I've said in the past, what they did to contribute to the greedy, self-righteous, ignorant, rude, disrespectful type of son or daughter. I gave him everything. That was your first mistake. I wish that she would just be this way and that way. Well, are you this way and that way, mother? There are those individuals who want so much, but yet they give so little in return. There are those individuals who have given so much over the course of many years, even when God said stop. There are those mothers who have been disobedient to the one true God, very rebellious. Okay? She may look like a mother, very sweet, very nice. She may behave like what you believe is a good mother. But at the end of the day, God knows what's really on that woman's mind and what's on her heart. And it's not anything good. We got some violent mothers, the type that don't mind threatening violence and don't mind acting violently. And do you really think that God is in the plan with a mother who has a mindset like that? Absolutely not. There are those who pick a war when there is no war with sons and daughters. She's not thinking about you, mother, but she should be thinking about me. Well, she's not. She's got a lot on her mind. He's not thinking about you, mother. Well, after all I did for him, he should be. Well, he's got a life of his own. He has a family. Mama raised a mama's boy at one point, but mama's boy woke up and realized that I'm not going to follow by mama's precepts. Some didn't get the memo. They ended up following by mama's precepts, and now they're divorced because mama's precepts was about drawing her son close to her. The wife saw it. The mother-in-law saw it. And even some sons and daughters saw how that son was led right into the slaughter, right along with all the other siblings, listening to a foolish, very foolish mother. Those of you all who have not gotten the book, Tell Me Mother You're Sorry, you might want to check that out because you see, I expose those toxic, narcissistic, crazy making type of mothers in that book. Of course, some will not want you to read it because they know they're guilty as charged. So they're going to say whatever they're going to say to discredit it. Because nobody likes a book that's about them. Nobody wants to see the truth for what it is when they are guilty as charged. And we got spiritual mothers, foster mothers, biological mothers, stepmothers who have tried to manipulate and control, as well as those who have successfully manipulated and controlled, mentioned in that book. If you want to be one step ahead of what is going on when it comes to mama's madness, you've got to read a book like that. I know that it's going to hurt some people's feelings. I know it's not going to make you see your mama as that sweet, kind, and beautiful person that everybody else sees her as. You may have started to see some things about her that's not right. And so it's an eye-opener. It's a support. It's a support for those individuals who simply don't feel comfortable talking to siblings, talking to husbands or anybody else about mama's stuff. And it's a lot that goes on with some of these mothers. I met an individual who told me that her mother is the type of mother who does not mind embarrassing her. She's the type of mother who has lied on her multiple times. This is a mother who also caused her to go to jail. This is one of those mothers who you would give her the award for worst mother of the year. Yes, that type of mother who doesn't believe herself to be wrong in what she does. Every police officer in her particular community knows her because of her drama fits in public locations. This is the type of mother that you have to stay away from if you want to keep your freedom, keep your sanity, and keep your children from learning of her ways. God does convict sons and daughters about toxic mothers, staying away from distancing oneself. I know that, of course, the mother wouldn't want that type of information to be brought to her daughter or son's attention about keeping away from her because she doesn't see where she went wrong. She doesn't see that she is causing confusion. And because of the society that we live in, where there's this esteeming of mothers, she believes herself to be next to God, when in all actuality, she's so far away from God. Okay? When God moves on your spirit, it doesn't matter. Once again, the titles, you are to distance, go low contact or no contact when you know that your mother is troubled in her mind. When you know that you cannot tolerate certain things she says and does. When you know that your life has been dramatically affected in so many different ways as a result of her fear, her worry, her stress, her toxic communications, her controlling behaviors. Why would one want to stay under the influence of someone who has done nothing more than bring drama in, whether a nice way with a smile on her face or whether in a way where she's out rolling deep sign and having an attitude just about every 5 seconds? Okay? But we got those individuals who they are so brainwashed on the mother title that they will do just about anything to win the affections of a mother, to stay in her good graces, to get whatever she has promised. We have some individuals that have been bamboozled by mother in so many different ways. She has turned siblings against one another. She has turned even her own husband against the children. They never, ever, it's unfortunate, but they never, ever, those flying monkeys, if you will, they never, ever bother to get the other side of the story. There are some partners, whether boyfriend, mama's boyfriend, or mama's husband, who don't have a clue how devious, how deceptive, and how they've even been scammed by their partner. She's out there, and some folks have been so bold as to call her out. Others have not. Others have went into hiding. Some have had that last conversation, I know I had, where it's not much of a conversation. It's either going to be you say what I want you to say or don't say nothing at all. And we don't live by those types of standards. We are called to be free believers. We don't live by somebody's power and control tactics where I get to tell you everything I don't like about you, but you can't tell me anything that you don't like about me. We don't live in the type of society where we are supposed to be in a box. That's not the type of society that God has called us to. That's the society that man and woman called you to. Whether it was mom and her religion, whether it was mom and her work and what she wanted you to do for work, whether it was mom and her desires for what kind of partner or what kind of grandchildren or for whatever she wanted for you. You are not placed in a box. God has called you to be free. Free from your mother's dictates, her warnings, her threats, her punishments, her silent treatments. You are free, child of God. There is peace of mind when you walk away from toxic people, places, and things. I can't stress that enough. If the siblings want to be caught up in that foolishness, they can. If the siblings want to honor thy mother, even in her grave, for every anniversary that shows up related to a mother, whether it's her, the anniversary of when she passed away or the anniversary of when she got married to to this man or that one or whatever. That's up to them. But you, child of God, you are not called to be doing all of those things that those others do. If you really want to be at peace, you've got to be able to decrease with the one true God. Okay? You are praising and worshiping him. You're not thinking about mama every second, every minute of the day, even though that's what your brainwashing tells you. You redirect your thought. You don't get to a place where you're walking so close to the Lord where you end up not being able to do anything good for others. You see what I mean? But there are those mothers who have done that sort of thing where they got right with the Lord, but they got right with the Lord and then they forgot about everybody to the point where they started going crazy. Okay. You can forget about some folks if they're toxic and negative and destructive in your life, because God will do that. But then there are those that he will introduce you to that are of light. Now, if we've had poor examples in front of us who pretty much said that everybody was wrong, everybody was no good, then you'll find yourself isolating yourself. And ultimately, the plan was so that you would draw near to your mother because you don't have any friends. She made sure that you were very cautious when it came to befriending people, reaching out to people and everything that, you want to do. So she had to figure out a way to draw you to her. And we don't live that type of lifestyle. That's what dysfunctional people want us to live. Abusive people want us to live that way. They say on one hand that they want you to live your life, but then on the other hand, they do things to control your life. Okay. As you grow older, you will begin to see where your mother's programming rubbed off on you if you did not get delivered from it. And then your children will come and they'll start to tell you the very things that you experienced when you were under mother's dictatorship, rulership. And that is going to be the wake-up call for some of you all when they get the boldness in their spirit to come and say, you are just like your mother. You are treating us in the same ways that you didn't want to be treated, but yet you're doing it to us. The dysfunctional programming is in and around you, Mom, and now you're putting it upon us so that we could do what? Share it with our children? I don't think so. The pride, the prejudice, there's a lot of mothers who have that sort of thing. I saw one particular mother in the church that had a lot of that and continues to deal with it because some mothers don't want to let go of pride of oneself and of her family, where she brags and boasts about her family. The Lord giveth and the Lord also taketh away, as we very well know. Some mothers don't want to give up on their prejudice, very prejudiced toward other ethnicities, and then they go along with whatever programming that was put upon them, and then they share it with their children. And now their children have the nerve to be prideful as well as prejudiced toward other folks. They have superiority complexes, and God sees it. So here's to those individuals. If we were going to do a grape juice kind of toast, here's to those individuals who have broken free from the controlling, toxic, disrespectful, and downright ugly mothers that need Jesus, simply put, so that they can be the righteous, true, loving, and kind type of mothers that God has called them to be. And then, of course, those individuals who are works in progress, you know what you need to do. You need to break the generational curses, cycles, and what have you that were put upon you. God is not through with you yet. As long as you still got breath in your body, you can change. You can do what's right. God is waiting. Thank you, as always, for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube Interim Enterprise 7. Subscribe today. Feel free to check out Tell Me Mother You're Sorry. You are welcome to order that book. It's right there in the description box. Somebody needs to read it. Somebody's been putting it off. Somebody's been saying, I'm going to get that book, and they haven't. It's time to get it. It's time to break free from the foster mothers, spiritual mothers, mother-in-laws that are toxic, right? Everybody wants to assume that it's always that biological mother. Sometimes it's not the biological mother. Some of us, we know. For years, when I did audio messages, I would be doing audio messages and talking to my mother. So it wasn't about, oh, she must have had a lot of issues with her biological mother and grandmother, because for many of those messages, I was having no issue with them. But then as we get older, we start to see some things, and God moves us in a different direction. It's not always a bad thing either. But then there are those mothers that come into our lives, the spiritual mothers and the stepmothers and whoever else's mother shows up in our lives, and God shows us some things, you see. And he tells us where we need to protect ourselves. And some of you all, mom may have been right about that other mother. And for some of you others, mother could have been totally wrong. And you could have seen her jealousy a mile away. Okay? So, as I said, get that book. Tell Me Mother You're Sorry by NichollMcGuire. Blessings to you.